Over the past couple of days, the Golden State Warriors have taken a very good step forward in terms of getting back to their ability to contend for NBA championships with both the NBA draft and a trade yesterday. On Wednesday, the Golden State Warriors took James Wiseman, Nico Mannion, and Justinian Jessup with their 3 picks in the NBA draft, and yesterday they ended up finalizing a trade with the Thunder to acquire Kelly Oubre Jr. Although James Wiseman was the big-ticket get out of the 2020 NBA draft for the Golden State Warriors, Nico Mannion and Justinian Jessup end up looking like they are probably perfect fits with the Warriors. Nico Mannion looks like he'll probably be coming off the bench as a ball-handling playmaker for the Warriors, and Justinian Jessup looks like he's going to fill the shooting void that's going to be left by Klay Thompson throughout this 2020 season. And Kelly Oubre Jr. is a very good trade asset for the Golden State Warriors to acquire. Not only will he be a good player for the Warriors in the short term, but if there is a team looking to offload its superstar, namely the Milwaukee Bucks looking to possibly offload Giannis Antetokounmpo, then trading somebody like Kelly Oubre Jr. as well as possibly Andrew Wiggins is, it's a good, at least a somewhat solid package for the Warriors to package together for somebody like Giannis. In the short term, the Golden State Warriors look like they're going to be a team that's going to compete very highly for championships and have a lot of good young players that look to carve out new roles within the team. Adding to a team that already boasted a roster with guys like Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Eric Pascal, adding guys like Kelly Oubre Jr., James Wiseman, Nico Mannion, and Justinian Jessup will both add to a roster that could compete for championships now and be able to package a trade for a star later. The Warriors also boast a lot of good younger players as well, guys like Kevon Looney, Jordan Poole, Marquise Chris, Alen Smailagic. There's a lot of good young talent on this Warriors team that will possibly, if they can take the next step in their development. Kevon Looney has been on this team for a while. He was part of championship runs with the Warriors. But guys like Poole, Chris, and Smailagic, if they're able to take their next step in their development, this team could go 10 to 12 deep in terms of their rotation throughout the regular season. Even though the Klay Thompson injury will probably derail the early part of the season, the Warriors will probably right the ship and win 40 to 50 games of this shortened 72-game season and probably be in the running for a 5th, 4th seed in the NBA Western Conference for the playoff standings. But even without Klay Thompson, I think they're going to figure it out in terms of being able to play without him. Like I said, they drafted somebody like Justinian Jessup who will be able to fill the void of the shooting aspect of Klay Thompson, even though he's nowhere near the shooter or nowhere near the defender that Klay Thompson is. He at least, like I said, has shot 41% through his three-point career in college and will be able to, I think, fill out and carve a role within this Warriors squad as a good shooter off the bench. And as long as somebody like Steph Curry is on your team, you're going to be having a squad that's going to be towards the top of the league in terms of three-point percentage, both three-point attempts, three-point makes. They're going to be a good three-point shooting team even without Klay Thompson on the court. And when you add somebody like James Wiseman, who is going to be setting probably a lot of both on and off-ball screens for Steph Curry, as well as having someone like Draymond Green, who is a very good established screen setter in the league already, Steph Curry is probably going to be running off screens like a madman, looking for three-point shots, looking for early easy drives. And then once he's getting that going, James Wiseman's going to get lobs over the top, and maybe he even develops a somewhat of a decent mid-range game as well. The biggest problem within the Warriors that will probably hurt them is whether or not Draymond Green can take a step forward with his three-point shooting. He's always been around the 30, maybe even below the 30% mark in terms of his three-point shooting. And it seems like it's gotten worse with time, which is weird because it's one of those things, three-point shooting, that it seems like players get better with over time. So if his shooting starts to decline even more and his defense looks like it's declining even more, the Warriors possibly could be looking to trade Draymond Green throughout the season. And we've all known what Draymond Green has meant to the Warriors, both positively and negatively, whether he's been yelling at teammates, yelling at coaches. However, he has been a very good player for this Warriors organization, so trading him probably will hurt, but if it's for the good of the team, I can see Bob Myers and the rest of the Warriors organization making that move. The Warriors probably will take a chance on a good, older NBA vet throughout the league, somebody maybe like Patrick Patterson. I don't see them going after Dwight Howard, but it honestly would be a good move for them to go for him. Guys who are just established in the league as good, solid players who aren't going to take up a bulk of the possessions on the offensive side of the ball and play solid defense as well. Maybe somebody like Avery Bradley as well. So there's a good chance that we see 2 or 3 good vets go to this Warriors team as well to flesh out the roster and possibly make up for any weaknesses that could be on the roster at this current point. And at the end of the day, if the Warriors are not competing at the level that I think they can and the level that they probably think that they can be competing at with guys like Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, and their good young players, then there's a chance they end up just fire sailing the roster. They will for sure keep guys like Steph Curry, probably keep somebody like James Wiseman as well. But if they have a chance to go after Giannis, or if they have a chance to go after somebody like maybe even James Harden, even though it sounds really weird, if they have a chance to go after another superstar to make this team a for sure championship contender, then I will be not surprised if by the time the trade deadline comes during the season and they're sitting at, maybe the 8 or 9 seed and they're looking to get another superstar to play with Steph, I wouldn't be surprised to see them trade guys like Justinian Jessup, Nico Mannion, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, whoever they end up trading. I wouldn't be surprised to see them trade somebody to get another superstar to play with Steph. However, I think that's possibly the worst possible. I think that's the worst case scenario because the Warriors, they're definitely not going to tank with all this talent that they have on the roster. They're definitely not going to be a bad team really enough to tank. This team is way too good for them to be able to even tank. Like I said, they go 10 to 12 deep with their roster. They have some very good older players as well as some very good young players on this team who are probably going to be able to carve out their role very nicely. However, they possibly could be a team that's sitting at the midpoint. We all know that the Western Conference is by far the best conference in the NBA, but it's possibly the best it's ever been in terms of the top teams in the league are all in the West. So we could see the Warriors drift towards the bottom or middle of the pack of the Western Conference playoff teams. And if that does end up happening, especially if they're on the outside looking in of the playoffs, they could trade for that superstar player. However, like I said, I think it's possibly the worst case scenario if that ends up happening. With all that being said, that's going to be the video for me. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like. If you didn't like it, make sure you leave a dislike. Any feedback from you all at this point is much appreciated. If you are a Warriors fan or NBA fan in general, leave a comment down below what you think about what I said. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below. And if you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.